G'day, how is everyone? So today, I just want to go over a picture here. The Mr. Smith citizens, or the Mr. Smith effect, from the movie The Matrix, to, I mean, be concurrent with the upcoming fourth Matrix movie. Isn't that going to be exciting? Hey? Number 4. So a friend just sent me this picture, and so just wanted to go over this because we've got that fourth Matrix movie coming out. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Because in the last Matrix movie, Neo flies off like Superman, right? He's just fully conquered the Matrix, worked with the Matrix to defeat Smith, and then he flies off like Superman at the end of the movie. So, I mean, with all those powers, and he can, bring back to life people, he brought back to life Trinity and that. So, it's going to be an interesting, where can you go from there? It's going to be an interesting number 4, I think, Matrix 4. Okay, so I am Benjamin Kaunberg from consciouszine.net. So if you haven't already checked this channel, I do a lot of organic portal videos. There's 315 that I have published, and there are actually hundreds more in bits and pieces, and then also written down as notes, as video titles for me to talk over and expand on. So there's going to be hundreds more organic portal videos coming on this channel, so I implore you to subscribe, because if you guys subscribe, it just entices me to come back to YouTube, doesn't it? It entices me and encourages me to do more, maybe even more quickly. And so I hope you guys can like the videos, but it's best if you share. Just dump the URL in some Facebook group, just to get the views up, and some people will come in and like it. It's just it takes 5 seconds for you to do that. And, if you put the like on a video, that's just one like. If you dump the link, maybe 10, 20, 30, 100 people might come and like the video. So that will really help me and, give me that energy boost to want to keep making these videos, to want to keep helping you guys, and etc. And come back to YouTube every day, answer comments and this and that, right? It is a job. It does take your energy, so please help. So anyway, the Mr. Smith effect and Archons abound. So I don't know, are our handlers the Archons? Comment below if you have any ideas on this. People always in gang stalking go on about handlers, but then they're talking about, what we call ground troops or physical people, right? Not upper dimensional demons or something. So when they say handlers, they usually mean, there's some perps, some perpetrators of your gang stalking, and then there's people handling them. But I think this is a really good upgrade. I don't think it's just, the physical, CIA agent or whatever it is, like corrupt police, gang stalker, whatever it is, private eye, etc., or professional gang stalking organization. I don't think, it ends there. And I like how this picture has referred to handlers in a seemingly higher fashion. So, it kind of alludes to handlers as, dimensional beings and entities rather than just, like I just mentioned, a physical person. So let's go over this. So the Mr. Smith effect. In the movie The Matrix, Mr. Smith has the ability to enter any body at any time. Now, that's why we call organic portals. So I just want to stop on that first sentence. I'm going to keep doing this through the picture. So we call organic portals like they're empty of themselves, their higher self, the light body, the Christ, crystal, fifth dimensional, liquid living light layer dimensional light body, which is actually multi-dimensional. And so we say they're devoid of that Atman, that spirit. In India they call it, like Atman, right? So they don't have Atman nature, and they're just their physical ego bodies, and the ego is the steward of the physical body, and then you have the id, who is the steward personality of the light body. And that's like when you say your higher self, that's what you're referring to. Your higher personality, I guess. I'm not sure, I haven't read Freud, but Freud said, ego and superego, so it could be relative to that too. It sounds like it. I just haven't read into his psychology much, so I'm not sure. But, at a guess and at a glance, it sounds exactly the same meaning, right? Ego and then like a superego. So they don't have that, that Atman, that superego, that id, and that's why we call indigos in the id or higher self goes. And then I called the organic portals outdigos because they're only made up of other people's thoughts. They don't have their own vertical spiritual flow and stream of thought that is the third eye, that is your vision that comes with telepathic downloads and, so on and so forth. So because they're, spiritually empty, let's just summarize it as that, because I've talked about this in hundreds of videos now, I don't want to really go over this every single video, but I mean, you kind of have to in case someone new is coming in. But yeah, look, check my other videos. I've gone over that in more details in other videos. But yeah, so essentially we summarize that they're, inside, they're not there. Or, they're empty inside. People call them empty shells, right? And I agree with that terminology, and that's what it's like. They're just the physical anthropoid monkey body, the human body, the Homo sapien body. And so they're capable, like the movie The Matrix, for the agents to just morph through them. Suddenly they turn into like an agent of the Matrix. And that's why I think this photo is really good, because it goes over that. So, in the movie The Matrix, Mr. Smith has the ability to enter any body. Now that's the organic portals. Because we are in a universe of spectrums, this is how I want to explain it to you. You know how people say you raise your vibration and you have a higher vibration in this? If you're an eternal spirit or souled human, we have a higher vibration, just naturally, because the light body is a fifth dimensional higher vibratory density, right? So that's naturally inherent in us, so inherently we have a higher vibration. So, it's not the case for us that the Agent Smith enters us. Now, depending how conscious you are, I mean, you could be at 49% and then you've got 1% ability for Agent Smith to enter you. But, most of us, and definitely everyone in this Organic Portals movement, we're pretty much impenetrable, right? The very souled, spirited humans, because we're over the 50%. So there's no room left for Agent Smith to, as a frequency being, come over us, because we are emanating and always in our own frequency, you see. So they are not. So that's why they can be entered at any time. And it says here, Agent Smith can enter any body. What that means is any, organic portal person or human body. Right. And of course, this often occurs when the Matrix is threatened by Neo. Now, Neo means new. And I have said that the organic portals are like a stabilization functionality of the human species' morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field saves whatever the latest Neo movement or Neo creation was, or Neo thought, or whatever it was. If there was an advancement, then it's saved into that species field. That's why also organic portals are just the backdrop of any species, dogs, cats, koalas, whatever it is, not just humans, you see. And I brought that idea out into the mainstream, that they're a stabilization functionality. No one ever said that before. So, this is the whole point. Neo just means new, so anytime anything new happens, it sets them off. Change in the system, their system, sets their alarm bells off, and you get the organic portal stare for being different. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So Neo just means new. It's not just a character in a movie, right? So this scenario is a reflection of our real world. Yeah, most definitely. For example, you're down at the coffee shop having a 2-hour conversation with a friend, and everything is fine until you mention something like vaccines not being safe or effective. Yeah, anything against the status quo, if you mention that sets them off, is what they mean here. Now watch what happens. Up pops Mr. Smith to replace the person you were having a conversation with, to attack you, because any and all truths and new movement and change threaten the establishment and the matrix stabilization functionality in the matrix system of control. Because it's harder for it to keep control. It has to, again, figure out how this new piece of the puzzle fits into its system. Will it be a threat? How will it be a threat? So it gets ticked off. It gets annoyed. It has to do more work to keep the stabilization functioning and, to keep the status quo existing and so on. The Matrix is programmed into most people in their youth, and because of this Mr. Smith programming, these people become guardians of the Matrix. You've heard the whole saying of doing the man's work for the man, that type of idea. Protectors of the code, police of the mind control, enforcers of the brain washing, which holds together our false concept of reality like superglue. Our handlers program most people to be like this. See, it's interesting now they've mentioned our handlers program most people to be like this, because obviously a ground troop or a physical person like a private eye, a secret agent, a corrupt police officer, a professional gang stalker, whatever they are, obviously they can't program another person. Well, only when you talk to someone and you try to, brainwash them and program them, right? But I like how they say this, because it's insinuating that people are programmed from a higher platform and, I don't know, from an inner dimension kind of thing, from entities beyond our physical eye's reach, you might say. And where do we see these entities? Well, obviously in the third eye, right? In vision, inside. So just, there's many ways to enhance your third eye. You need to ground, because it clears off the positive charge. When you negative charge, put your big toe on the ground, right? Take your shoes off, because they're electrically disconnecting you, because it's rubber. And what you need to do is stand barefoot on the ground and get negative charge. Now, in the city, you can do this on concrete, but you don't get the higher dimensional lights. All you get is the negative charge, so it still does help, but it's not the full deal. So, negative charge will clear the positrons or positive ions, which is like static on the TV screen, when you're switching channels. And I don't watch TV for a long time now, but I remember when you switch channels and you get the static screen, the black and white static, that's what positive charge does to your inner vision. It, it statics the picture, it covers it with, a muddy overlay, you might say, or it muddles up the picture. So obviously when you ground, you clear the positive charge off. You also align the water molecules in your body, because one negative ion aligns 1 million water molecules. Science has that, so that's all, proven and pragmatic. So that's very interesting, right? So this isn't just, spiritual mumbo-jumbo or something, if anyone's out there thinking that. This has all very pragmatic consequences. And that's why I always try to explain it like that, so that we can have more people understand this stuff. So our handlers program most people to be like this, to attack anyone at any time. If another person in the Matrix dare speak the truth or enter new information, funny ideas and disrupt the code of slave control or just control in general, these Mr. Smith-like citizens sit there waiting. Well, really, it's not really the organic portal, it's the agent coming through them. Sit there waiting for people who speak against the matrix of control, the people who connect the dots, or the people who recognize the patterns in the slave code, and then attack. Archons abound. So yeah, I just wanted to go over that picture, and I guess we should talk a little bit more about Agent Smith maybe. So, in Matrix 3, don't forget Neo works with the Matrix to defeat the virus which Smith has become. Now, I go on and on about this thing that I can see, and I call it the surface virus. This appears to me to be exactly the same thing as the concept in the movie The Matrix. That, Smith becomes like a virus, and how does he assimilate people? From the surface, right? He puts his hand in their chest, in their heart. No other place, huh? He puts his hand in their heart. I think that's a point that you should be thinking about. Because, it said organic portals have not moved into inscension ascension, which is when the higher heart, or you might say heart chakra, higher heart is activated. Then you activate the upper chakras, and you also activate the upper Merkaba triangle, and so you get the complete spinning Merkaba light body vehicle, and then you can travel interdimensionally and so on and so forth, right? So it's interesting, Smith puts his hand in their heart, and the grey goo, isn't that a telling sign of what's coming? That's for sure coming. Nanobot grey goo. The grey goo then assimilates them, right? Even the Oracle, remember? He even assimilates the Oracle, the Vision Lady, right, in the movie The Matrix. So be aware of that, because there is there is a channel called Hood Oracle who made a organic portal video, which I disagreed with, where she was saying, they're not soulless because these religious people don't seem to understand dimensions. It's not taught in any religion, dimensions, that there are multi-dimensional realities, and our reality is multi-dimensional. So they don't seem to understand the dimensions, and I think I've pretty much got the the forefront information on that on my channel. I don't see anybody else, and I've covered all of the organic portal videos, and nobody else is able to talk about the dimensions in the free flow and in-depth fashion that I am able to. Have you noticed that? So yeah, anyway, I've got a Mr. Smith-like agent near me right now, because I start talking, you see. They start coming, and that's why I just got distracted by the clinking and the clanking. Anyway, so they always appear to linger. When your vibration is going up, they come to dampen and linger, right? That's how you know who is the soulless human, the organic portal. And they're not self-spiritless. They always do the matrix jobs. They do, work for other people. They don't work for themselves. They can't even think for themselves, let alone work for themselves, because they are not spiritually vertical, right, on the horizontal cross of matter. All they are is the horizontal cross of matter. There is no Christ light body and so on, like I said. And you can feel this. If you're a seer like me, you can look directly at them and you see no aura. Some people say they have black aura. Yeah, you can see that too, but that might well be a negative soul as well. So if you want the base idea, it's no aura at all. You're just looking like at a physical object. It's like you're looking at a chair or a wall. And they're exactly like walls because they stop progression. Even if you're speaking up like I am now. That's why there's someone who came just right near me and distracting with the clinking and the clanking. It's always like this. Doesn't matter where you are. You can be anywhere. But they always come. They always linger and they dampen the vibration, and you'll feel this. And this is the Mr. Smith effect. Now, if you go into pain, that's more Archon relative and robotic portal relative. The robotic portals are more like more complex than the organic portal. They're also like a direct AI portal, whereas if you get an organic portal with a suction device in them or something, or a listening implant, it's just an implant, and they may have in the background the same frequency that the robotic portal has, which is like a psychotronic technic frequency. You might even feel them as a hard surface. The organic portal feels more like a blob of gooey matter. The robotic portal feels more like a hardened metal machine. And we're talking humans still here, don't forget. So this is when you feel in vibration like I do. So the Archons, they're really coming through the robotic portal. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that, because you'll feel the frequency. They put you in a pain frequency when they talk. It doesn't open you like I do. You eat alkaline foods and it opens your viscera. And if you eat acidic foods, you feel that contraction. It's exactly the same with the robotic portal frequency. They contract you and put you into pain. And you see, when you listen to my voice, it doesn't do that. My voice is like an uplifting, opening frequency. Okay? So there's another way to tell. And stick around. We're going to do more videos. But that's essentially the Mr. Smith effect. It's exactly like the movie The Matrix. They come through people, and all it is if you might not see anything like I can maybe see something more, maybe all you see is that they start getting really defensive, right? So just look out. If you're new to all this stuff, just look out for the simple signs. Don't try and jump straight to, being an ultra vision person. It can take time, right? But just look out for the simple signs. Did they defend status quo? Did they defend, stasis and not moving on in thought? You know what I mean? Not progressing. Did they get all defensive when you mentioned, I don't know, like here they say vaccines, but did they get all defensive when you mention anything against what the empirical data states, or the established, empiricism states, right? If they get defensive when you say something against that, or even when you say something against very, very pragmatic science, like scientific reductionism, they love that, because they want to reduce everything to something very simple to understand, because they're simpletons. They're very simps. They're very simple in the mind. So, even you can find it out this way, who around you is an agent, because they'll defend even scientific reductionism, like over-pragmatization, because they're not spiritual. The upper dimensions are symbolic and spiritual. The lower dimensions here into physicality are pragmatic. So that's why I say they're only these lower dimensions. They're only the third dimensional being, right? They're third dimensional humans. They're only the physical body. They don't know of anything else. Watch when you talk to them. They cannot expand into anything esoteric. They won't have it for a minute. They've never researched that. They've never looked into it. They've never even so much as had a single thought in that direction, because they're not capable of that. Okay, so this is basically the Mr. Smith effect, where they defend status quo, defend scientific reductionism over pragmatization. So you can tell very quickly, actually, right, who is who.